believe that why people don't do anything, you know, even though like what happened with Clinton yesterday, Hillary Clinton, where, you know, it's just crazy what's going on. And people, it seems that they're just sitting back and doing nothing. And one reason why I see this is we all see it. And one reason why is because, you know, the dumbing down of the population, even only here in Mexico, you know, it's happened all over the world. And one way I see it is that we have professional development events every year. And each year it seems like we are getting trained to apply activities in the classroom that are like game-oriented. It's called gamification. It's a cool strategy, but at the same time, it makes like, and even young adults, like at the universitarian age, they're constantly asking in the class, teacher, game, let's play a game. And it shows you how, like, their mentality is like...
This was admitted in the 60s. They don't want you in the real world, so they want you to do simulated competition games where you're never involved in the real world. It's kind of like the Romans with gladiator events and horse races to divert the public from what was really going on in the world. It's a distraction so that we sleep while they live. And they also try to make, you know, regular learning as boring as possible and never teach people how it really works, how the world really works, because then you might actually be effective. Everything is about teaching you not to be effective. And you try to tell folks that are obsessed with gamification that, hey, this is a system to control you. They get mad with a Pavlovian response like you're trying to destroy their world because their world is a fantasy world. I'm not against games, but there's so much real stuff in the world. Games are only trying to copy the real world. But here's the definition, since you mentioned it. We'll put it back on screen for TV viewers. It's the application of typical elements of gameplay, point scoring, competition with others, rules to play to other areas of activity, typically as an online marketing technique to encourage engagement with a product or service. So yes, this is what gamification is, and people are mad who live in like fantasy land. They're obsessed with their fantasy shows or their video games. And I'm like, hey, I get it. I like some fantasy shows, like some video games, but it can't be your world. And you can tell they get a glaze in their eyes. They're now intellectually in that fantasy world and see you as someone almost trying to wake them up on Saturday morning at 6 a.m. They want to go back to Wonderland, back to the Matrix. Great points. Thank you, Caesar. Or hold on for one more comment. Wayne Madsen, your comment on that.
Well, you know, I think I talk to people who are educators, and it's awful now in some of these school systems. They don't even teach in some of these school systems cursive handwriting, you know, because everybody's getting so used to the, you know, texting and the keyboards and all the digital stuff. You know, it's the same complaint I have about Kindle. Look, you know, I've got a lot of real books, and I'm going to keep my real books. I'm not going to put any of my books, if I can help it, on
And it's
Kindle.
not that you're afraid of something new. They admit the screens hurt your eyes. It can digitally be changed.
Right.
The book is physical. It's very important to have physical copies.
Right, and Kindle, any book that's electronic can be altered.
They've already been doing it.
Just like I believe the 28 missing pages are the still classified pages. When John Brennan, the CIA director, said, oh, there's nothing in there that implicates Saudi Arabia and 9/11. The only reason he would say that after others have come out and said, of course it implicates Saudi Arabia, is that he's gone in and altered.
Well, he said a week after he said he might release it, he said a redacted version.
Yeah, he's altered it. If he says there's nothing in there that implicates Saudi Arabia.
We have all these senators, all these House members have seen it. It's in there. He says it's not there. You're right.
Right. And that can be done with Charles Dickens novels, Herman Melville's novels, the Bible, you name it, whatever it is.
You haven't heard? They're already re-releasing classics now, politically correct style.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Well, we already had
They don't want Tom Sawyer saying it's racist.
Right. The state representative from West
Mark Twain was anti-racist, but he put the stuff that was going on in the book. It's not racist to historically show something in a novel.
Well, I guess a state representative from Philadelphia, she wants to remove all references to the Confederacy. If she wants to remove the Confederate flag from reenactments, of course she represents. I got to point out that she represents an area, West Philadelphia, where kids graduating from high school there excel in only carjackings and shoplifting.
That's incredible. Well, those that control history control the past and the present and the future. Wayne Madsen, WayneMadsenReport.com. Look forward to seeing you about a week and a half up there to cover the RNC and the DNC, my friend. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. We're going to go to more calls. Caesar, closing comments. Sorry, go ahead.
Another quick comment, question, more like, okay, I've been recently investigating about MK Ultra mind control, and I've been saying that back in the 60s, you mentioned actually that where they have been, the government officials have been putting, testing people with LSD in secret. But do you see that happening now? But like,
absolutely, they're testing all sorts of weird designer drugs at UT that I always hear from people, and I'm not even into the drug culture, but I know people that talk about and tell me about. Oh, there's this really incredible drug they're handing out downtown. It comes from somewhere at UT, and then you investigate it, and it's connected to some government program. Just testing stuff on people. Absolutely, the government put LSD out on the streets in America, and again, when you say government, criminal elements, not the cops down the street. And there's just all sorts of weird black budget social engineering crap going on. Exactly.
Well, thanks a lot, Alex.
Really Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't like the drug culture, and I don't like drugs and all other stuff. I mean, that is illegal drugs. I drink coffee. That's a drug, for heaven's sakes. I took a nasal spray this morning that was a prescription steroid. So when you say I don't do drugs, that's not an accurate comment. I take some drugs. I'm not as perfect as Trump, who doesn't even take aspirin. I take Advil sometimes. I take whatever. But the drug culture, I can't stand it. But they made the culture dirty and weird and sick because you make it illegal, then criminal elements come in. And then it puts all the money into it. That's why I'm for decriminalization of drugs. All right, now let's shift gears down to the Texas border. Not sure where he is right now. He's been a lot of different places. We may not even say for security issues. But Joe Biggs with our crew, including Allie and, of course, Zimmerman, are down there right now covering a lot of stuff. Some of the reports are already on Infowars.com. We've got some hidden cameras down there to get some of the border crossings. Biggs, of course, got the footage with others of the drug dealers coming across famously with the big pounds of drugs that Trump covered. So what have you learned in the last 24 hours, and what's coming up, Joe Biggs?
Well, last night we got into McAllen, Texas, and we were able to make our way down to the Rio Grande River at the U.S.-Mexico border. And what we saw within a matter of minutes was a group of, I believe, 7 individuals from Honduras. And then we ran into another group of about 5 or 6 people. That happened in seconds. I've been covering the border in this area for quite some time, for about 2 years now since I've been at InfoWars. And it used to be, maybe once out of a week you might see something like this. But it's now at a point where our reporters last week, within a matter of minutes of getting there in the evening time, were able to catch.
And the Border Patrol says that major uptick. And when Obama invites these people up, who are mainly teenagers, a lot of them are getting raped and killed by the coyotes. And we're not talking about dogs, so we're talking about the smugglers.
Well, the last group we encountered last night, the women were in tears. They were crying. So I don't know what they encountered before they made it across the river, but they seemed kind of traumatized a bit. So there's no telling what could have happened, like you said, as far as rape or something like that, But they did say they had just come over the river. They were in dry clothes, so I'm assuming they had a boat. It was kind of hard to make out, but when you get out there in that area, you can hear engines and you can see smoke plumes coming up from behind the trees in that river area. So there's definitely boats out there. We were just down there earlier ago, about an hour and a half ago, and we're able to go back, take some of the chips out of the cameras that we set up last night. We didn't see a whole lot after sundown, because we got there and got those cameras set up right before it got super dark. So it looks like most of the activity is the 3 hours.
Sure, used to they came in at night. Now they can just come in during the day because nobody's stopping them. And again, these are human beings. We don't hate them. The issue is the third world's collapsing. They're being brought in to be used as a political weapon. And I'll say this. The last few years you went down, they claimed it was mainly kids and teenagers. It wasn't. Now, because of advertising, and it seems like with the last 2 crews we've sent down, it is mainly teenagers and children. So it looks like they've made that a real prophecy by advertising it.
Well, the interesting thing about it, Alex, is we were down there trading out the SD cards and the cameras, relocating cameras in other strategic locations where we thought we might be able to pick up more, pictures and video of people coming up from the river. And as we were doing that, we decided to leave and go to another area. Now, we encountered a Border Patrol agent, a female. She had no issue with us being there, Alex. But as we were driving to go out to head to a park to go film, to actually do the show, we were chased out by Texas State Police. We were told we could not be there by them, but the federal agents The Border Patrol had no issue with us being there, and now
the state police. Wait. I wish we'd got video. I mean, did you get video of that?
Oh, I have video.
Well, let's put it up. The state police. Here's the headline: State police don't want reporters on the border. What did they say to you?
They said we couldn't be there. We were trespassing if we were there, but there were no signs where we came in at. And
no, the Rio Grande. They're saying the Rio Grande on the U.S. side. You're not a citizen, can't be there.
Yep. But so now we're in Hidalgo, Texas. We're down from here where there's actually somewhat of a wall. But when you go back into McAllen, there's no wall.
Well, I mean, I want to see this. I mean, I can't wait. This video's up, Joe. But just
it's on Twitter right now. I already retweeted it on your account. It's already got about 75 retweets and likes so far.
Oh, wow. So we'll get it posted at Infowars.com.
We've got another video we're going to have to put up.
No, I mean, great. No, I mean, I know you're shooting. I'm not complaining. I'm saying, wow, I want to see that because you're telling me the state police don't want. Did you tell them we're reporters?
Yes, we told them we're reporters.
I'm so sick of this. I'm going to do a little bit of overdrive going to the next hour of David Knight to take your calls. Corey and Margaret and everybody else is patiently holding like Bob. Joe Biggs is down on the border with Allie and, of course, Zimmerman. And Allie speaks really good Spanish. She's able to talk to all these folks down there. And I'm just upset with the state police. I don't have some bone to pick with the state police, but, man, some of the Texas State Police just, as I've been down there myself, or even at the Capitol, outside, but just doing an interview, and the runovers are screaming at you. They used to be like that. They have a real First Amendment issue. We have the footage. He's going to upload the rest of it where they actually confront them when they pull them over. But if you're a TV viewer, you can see it. We're going to roll it behind Biggs talking. That's amazing. Your reporters down there covering in McAllen on the border. The illegals are just walking across everywhere. And they told you you're trespassing when you're not trespassing. I mean, what did they say when you said we're members of the press?
They really didn't seem to care whatsoever. I mean, but who's trespassing? Let's look at that. The illegals who came across the border illegally, not coming in and doing immigration the proper way, which is what we have an issue. Those people are left alone. Meanwhile, the people we encountered last night, since they're from Honduras, what's going to happen? They'll go into a detention center for maybe a few hours, be processed, be given a court date.
Sure, but I'm asking the state police a question. They know whose car it is. They know who we are. They pull you over. I know that footage is going to be coming out soon. And, I mean, what did they say to you? I mean, what's the deal here? We're Americans. Leave us alone.
The guy stopped us and basically said, hey, you can't be here. You're trespassing. And if we come back, we'd probably be arrested, somewhere along the lines of that. So that's the ridiculous thing is my point is we have people
What did you say to him?
Illegally.
What did you say to him?
We just said, okay, whatever, thanks. And we started driving off. And as we started driving off, that's when I started filming from back in the back seat because Allie had the camera filming Zimmerman talking to the police from the driver's side window. The guy, as soon as we passed, he sped around, made a little U-turn, and then just sped up behind us completely, like at a high rate of speed, got right up on our tail end, I'm assuming to get our license plate number. And then as we went off left down the road away from them to go back onto the main road, he reached out of the window, looked like he was filming us or something like that, maybe to get more license plate information to try to run our plates and find out who we are.
Well, let me just give the feds, let me just tell the state police, since they can't figure this out. The globalists are dissolving the border, and the Border Patrol's working with us trying to get the information out to save the country, and then we're down there covering the border wide open. So we need to explain. The bad guy you're looking for is named Barack Obama and the globalists and Hillary Clinton, not us, okay? So that's who opened the border up, not us. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, they sought us out. We didn't bother them.
Oh, I know.
We were in our own area last night when the Border Patrol finally showed up when we were talking to the illegal immigrants. They rolled up. They started doing their thing, processing the individuals, taking their belongings. And the Border Patrol had no problem. They said, just don't stand behind us, stand off to the side.
Yeah, sure, of course.
They had zero issue. The state police are the ones that want to hinder us.
Well, the reason I brought this up, this happens like every time we go down there, the state police do this. I mean, I just don't understand it. Is it the problem that we're Americans? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, Americans do not have the right to move freely in America. Meanwhile, if you're illegal, you have the right to do whatever you want.
Well, I'm glad the governor put more people down there. I just want to know, this is like the 5th time the state police have done this to us when we're like in major cities on the border filming stuff. It's like, I guess they don't want citizens down there because it's, quote, dangerous. Well, the point is, we're doing our job exposing the open border. We're going to keep doing it, period. So leave our reporters alone. I'm not looking for trouble, but I'm just not going to have people harassed because that's what I heard from you earlier. They're like, almost ran into you, basically.
Yeah, the guys just sped up right behind us and was chasing us. It was ridiculous. If we would have hit a bump and had to slow down, that guy would have rear-ended us. And then I'm sure we would have been blamed for it somehow.
All right, well, you're doing a great job. You guys be safe. A lot of reports getting followed at Infowars.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep it up. I'm going to talk to some Border Patrol folks as well. See if we can talk to state police, too. We're just trying to get the word out. We're all on the same side here, I thought. All right, we'll be back with the fourth hour. Thank you, Joe Biggs. Folks can follow all of it at Infowars.com. We're going to come back, take a few calls, hand the baton to David Knight. Look, I know why the state police are doing that down there. It's more of this nanny state stuff. Keep the dumb Texans away.